DW Africa Link.
Nigeria's next presidential elections will be held in the year 2027. But the atmosphere is already charged. Political activity is heating up, even though the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, hasn't officially kicked off the campaign season. Politicians are forming new alliances and switching sides. A noticeable trend is the wave of defections from the opposition, especially the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But defections are normal in Nigerian politics, right? So what's the big deal? And what impact does it have on democracy? That's what's coming up. I am Eddy Micah Jr., and you are welcome to Africa Link, the podcast connecting you to the stories that matter.
Africa Link, every weekday here on DW.
Despite Nigeria's struggling economy and rising cost of living, President Bola Tinubu's ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, is still gaining ground politically. Meanwhile, the opposition is divided and struggling to unite due to internal conflicts and leadership rivalries. A key trend in today's political scene is a wave of defections from the opposition to the APC. These moves often include their cabinet members and lawmakers, boosting the APC's control in both the National Assembly and state legislatures. The defections have sparked intense speculation about the future of the opposition in Nigerian politics. For more on this, let me bring in Dr. Timothy Golu, a former member of the House of Representatives and current advisor to the Plateau State Governor. Also on board is DW's correspondent in Abuja, Nigeria, Ben Shemang. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the Africa Link podcast. Let's start with you, Dr. Golu. Defections are not new in politics. So what's the big deal if it's happening in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Eddy and Mr. Shemang and others that are there in the studio. Thank you for having me this morning. And just like you aptly captured it, defections are not new in Nigerian politics. And this is another phase of the defections that we are confronted with now, especially that we are getting, towards, close to the 2027 general elections. In Nigeria, it is a usual occurrence within the polity. It has characterized, our democracy from, 1983 or immediately after the return to civil rule from military regimes. Democracy being practiced in a community or in a nation or in a region, especially within developing countries. You can't rule that out because the quality is not like the quality of other advanced democracies where, politics is seen as an ideology, where people believe in politics because of what they can achieve, what they can use politics to achieve, especially addressing the concerns of the nation, developmental needs, foreign policies, and the rest of them. But you see, because of our low quality of democracy that has been affected, or that was, majorly caused by the quality of the economy. The low level of the economy affects every other, aspects of the human endeavor. Even our spiritual lives are affected, by the quality of our own economy. And because of that, everybody begin to look at it from what he or she can gain. Politics is about getting access to power, having access to power and controlling it to maximize the gains of it and to minimize, the losses associated with it. And so in Nigeria, because of this situation, you see people defecting to win elections, especially for those who want to contest elections, or people who want to look for greener pastures, people who believe that the party, they begin to see some good fortunes in another party, especially the ruling party. You discover that people move away from losing parties to winning parties. Nobody moved away from a ruling party to a losing party, except otherwise. Except
so
it is for exceptional.
So you basically saying all the right things in terms of the reasons people defect from their party to a ruling party. So there's nothing wrong in what's currently happening in Nigeria, or is there?
Well, I'm not defending it. There are many things that are wrong, because when you defect to other parties, definitely you must compromise the quality of your content, even if you get, elected at, within the other political party, the tendency of you executing what is in your mind is not there because you must follow the dictates of that party. So while some people go for it to win elections and to look for greener pastures, some people join to settle scores, or some people go out of losing parties for, out of grievances, because when people quarrel, I'm just telling you the local situations that we have here. Some of the reasons are so petty. They may not be so established. They may not be reasons out of exposure as why people want to win election to change the tides and the fortunes, of leadership. So because of these reasons, people move. It affects us a lot because sometimes it depends on the reason why the person moves to the other party. There is nobody that moves to another party without the reason. And when you move, definitely you have shifted base. And because you have shifted base, you must compromise some elements, in your own context.
One would say, isn't that just politics, right? I mean, whatever the other party can say to convince you to join them is just what politics is, to make them stronger and weaken the opposition.
Exactly.
So what's the problem? What's the problem there?
And the problem is that you will not, because the purpose of politics is to address society's concerns, is to address the issues of leadership. So when you get there, it means that it is more of a personal thing, it is more of a partisan thing than a collective thing. It is more of an individual thing, or let me repeat, a partisan thing. That is exclusively a party matter. So any interest that is outside that party matter is not seen as a national issue. So people concentrate on addressing partisan issues other than addressing the concerns of the people of the country.
Right. I get your point. Your point is, if it becomes too partisan, we're missing the point of politics, which is to, work on behalf of the people. And for so many petty reasons, people are defecting, and it's not going to benefit their people. It's going to benefit them personally, probably line their pockets or make them powerful or influential. But then that goes against core politics. Is that right? That's what you're saying, basically.
That's it. You got it.
Right. I am going to soon go to our correspondent, Ben Adam Shemang. But before I do that, Timothy, you belong to the opposition People's Democratic Party. And as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, some governors and lawmakers are leaving your party to join the ruling party. Is that right? And what do you know about why they are leaving?
It's not right. And as a party man to the core, I'm not happy that they are moving. Not because I want them to protect the ideals of the party or the partisan interests of the party, but they were voted under a party because people believe in them, because they identify with that party. They must have campaigned using, some promises, some contents that must have attracted people to vote for them. The situation happening at the federal level, when you look at it, you don't see people, governors of the opposition. That is, if I say opposition, I'm referring to it vis-a-vis the party, controlling the federal government. So in Plateau State, for instance, we are the People's Democratic Party, and at the national, we have the APC. You don't see an APC governor in another state defecting to another political party, but most of it is either the People's Democratic Party governors or the Labour Party governors or any other party moving because they want to align with the party at the national level out of fear, out of, that number one, yes, that is it, is out of fear because they believe, I told you that the quality of democracy or the quality of the economy affects the quality of democratic practice and the quality of the politics that we play. So yeah, they fear that there may not be justice. They fear that they may not, they may not be level playing field for them to operate. They fear that they want to win the elections with ease because sometimes an opposition governor may not be doing well in his own state, and because he has problems, he wants to move to another party, especially the ruling party at the national, so that he can be, in quotes, assisted. He can be assisted. He can enjoy the advantage, the benefits of belonging to the, to the party at the national, so that the federal might cover them.
Right. And you're definitely not happy about that. So a quick one again before I go to Ben is, what I really want to understand is, are we seeing record numbers of defections this time compared to previous times? Or is this just what happens before every election period or cycle?
In fact, this is the least. This is not as much as what has happened in the past. This one is not much compared to what happened in previous years. Remember in 2014, on the eve of the 2015 general elections, defections, the defections were so massive. They were more than any other in the history of defections in this country. When people move from the People's Democratic Party, that was the dominant party in the country, to join the then mega party, the APC. They moved there. We lost a number of people at the National Assembly level, at the governor's level, at the state assembly level. And so that gave rise, or that gave credence to the victory of the APC that was won by President Buhari, at the national level, and about 20-something governors of the APC across the states. So that was the beginning. So this one is not as much as that. But they are moving, as I told you.
Yeah, but is there still something about this time around that makes it a bit different from previous times?
Well, this time there is nothing so peculiar about it, only that they want to identify with the federal government. They want to identify with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu so that they can find it easy to win their own elections. That is just it. Because when you look around, there is no like in Delta State. What is the reason? Delta State has been a PDP state, from what to the state. And everybody knows about that. So if the man had stayed back, he would still have won his own election. But, sometimes a lot of factors, a lot of calculations, maybe the level of internal or domestic competition is creating fear in the governor. He feels that this time around, the president is going to impose an APC man, on the state, whether the man wins it or not. That fear is there. But if you are a truly democratic person, you will not have that as the first option. You rely on your people and God. It is God that gives power through the people.
Right. Well noted, Mr. Golu. Thanks very much.
Because
for
the president himself has set up an example. He is an example to be cited because in 1999, he contested under Eddy, even with the massive opposition, from the PDP. Remember former President Olusegun Obasanjo said, "You're Obama from the Southwest." They tried to fight him. But the present president, who was then the governor of Lagos State, remained with his people and won his re-election. Not only that, the Lagos State has never gone out of his own grip because he has always been with the people. So if he had behaved the way other governors are behaving now, definitely he would have moved even to the People's Democratic Party. But from AD, he went to AC to ACN, and then to APC. And he remained with his people. He has not moved to any other party, regardless of the fact that he was an opposition governor.
Okay. Ben, let me come to you. We've listened to Mr. Golu for a while, and his thoughts are very clear. Defections are happening, nothing new there, but he believes that it is a danger to democracy because then you're not serving the people, you're serving your own interests. You've been speaking to people on the ground about these defections. What are they telling you, and what does it say about the political landscape ahead of the 2027 elections?
Eddie, you see, speaking with Nigerians here in Abuja and some other places, in fact, I just returned from my village in Manchok, and what did I get from these people? They said, look, the way Nigeria is going, there's just going to be a single party in this country. We are nobody know that APC will simply be contesting against APC. So that is the fear. But Tinubu is saying that no, there's not going to be any single party in the country. But when you look at the scale, when you look at the level, the manner in which politicians, elected governors, sitting governors, you look at senators, serving senators, House of Representative members, you see them crossing over different political parties. It gives room for concern. And once you have that without a virile opposition to speak the truth to government, then democracy is actually gone. Why will a governor, for example, all through Akwa Ibom, they've always been with what PDP. Now you have a sitting governor who simply told the cabinet, commissioners, even lawmakers at the state level, cross over, all of you, to APC. Okay. And if you are not interested, you leave. So that is very, very dangerous to democracy.
Right. So just to be clear, are we just talking about opposition parties defecting to the ruling APC, or are there situations where people actually move from the APC to opposition parties?
Yes, there are a few cases. These few cases are really not more of elected members. Like a very close associate of Buhari, talking of a former governor of Kaduna State, Ahmed Rufai of Kaduna State. He pulled out of the APC because he was penciled to be a minister, but in the end, there were security concerns that, in fact, about him that indicted him. So they didn't confirm him. So he's been idle, and he just felt, okay, he was going to go out of the APC. So he went out of the APC, and he's been there gathering opposition members here and there. So you see, he is really not a member of the cabinet, but a strong member of the APC. Then
okay.
of recent,
So in a nutshell, so basically, there's been defections also from the ruling APC party, although not as much as those moving from the opposition to it.
Absolutely, yes, because just about a few days ago, you had Aliu Audu, an advisor to the president. He resigned. And what is he telling the press? He said he resigned because he didn't like what Tinubu was doing or his government was doing or APC. And for that reason, he's trying to fight the re-election of Tinubu against the re-election in 2027. So he's been there campaigning and addressing the press. And you also have some dissenting voices in APC, like Senator Ndume, who said that these defections might not really help Tinubu. After all, there were many defections when Jonathan contested, but it never helped because the opposition was that vehement. So right. We wait to see.
Right, we wait to see. I mean, in this case, though, going by the Electoral Commission figures and how current President Tinubu won the last election, the fact that there are more defections to his party could suggest that he has a more likely chance of retaining the presidency, isn't it?
Yes, he has chances, but again, we have to look at the path, the way to that election. If you have people who are leaving an opposition and joining him, so what electoral value are they carrying there? And if you go to that party, if you're a senator in that your zone and you feel that all the while you've been a senator and with that courage, are you saying that the APC, for example, will want to surrender its own structure because you have come as a new person? So there's going to be internal heat, there's going to be combustion,
Right.
there could be a burst of the bubble, political bubble, on the road to 2027.
Right. Let me come to you, Mr. Golu. So your concerns have been made clear, right? Is there any way that you feel defections can be avoided? Because clearly that's a problem for you.
Yes, as long as our situation remains, as long as there is no improvement in the quality of the economy, that should have improved the quality of democracy and the political practice, defections will continue. Because I have listed the reasons why defections occur, especially from this part of the country, because people want to achieve personal goals. And therefore, just like my senior colleague, Mr. Shemang, said, you will see it. There is no party that has enjoyed or benefited from defection that has remained the same. People who moved to APC in 2015, some of them returned to PDP, some went to Labour. New people will be defecting. And when you check the individuals involved in these defections, it's not the same people. Most of the people are not the same, you know. But the thing is that once they get there, the house will be too big for them there will be combustion. There will be serious congestion that the party itself, even after the primary elections, watch and see. They are running so that they can get elected. For those who are running for this reason, they will soon, most of them who will lose at the primary elections, will go back to other political parties. They may not necessarily return to their former political parties. They may go to other political parties to try their luck in that place. By the time the factors at the primary level are different from the factors at the secondary level.
So, Ben, I'm going to ask you that question then. Ben, there are those that are also concerned that all these defections would lead Nigeria to become a one-party state. Those that you've spoken to that are concerned about defections, how do they expect things to go moving forward?
Yes, you see, Eddy, the whistle was first blown by Adams Oshomole, who used to be the governor of Edo State. He used to be the president of Nigerian Labour Congress. Today, he's a sitting senator. He said anybody who had some issues, if you cross over to APC, your sins will be forgiven. Now, is it that governors are fearing that when they end their tenures, now that they have immunity from prosecution, after that, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission will arrest them, and that's why they are crossing over? That is one factor. Another factor is what you call the lack of internal democracy within the political parties. Here you are, you conduct primaries, and some people will come and impose candidates that they feel they like and not what the people find will like, because that again throws in some spanners into the workings of democracy or internal democracy within the political parties. Then the other people also feel that if they cross over, they are likely to get automatic ticket. Automatic ticket implies you no run, nobody will run against you, you just be a sole candidate. So quite a lot of the things are involved.
Right. We've talked about how defections can be a problem for democracy in a country like Nigeria. So can they ever be prevented? What's the way forward?
Honestly, crossing over or cross-carpeting will never be ended in Nigeria, the way things are going. But the way forward, therefore, is to ensure that first there is internal democracy among all the political parties. Don't see some politicians as superordinates, while the rest are subordinates. They are more important. That isn't it. And when people are insisting that they have to get automatic ticket as opposed to going through the electoral processes that will ensure that those who are bereaved or those who have complaints will cross over to some other political parties. So when you have frustrations, people will always run away from where they have been frustrated to go to another. But if they go there again and they are frustrated, they move to another. We have seen the way Atiku Abubakar has been moving from one party to another, and you pause and abuse the PDP. Now he's back to PDP. And so we've seen these forward and backward movements among politicians. It's not a new thing, but I tell you that it's not going to be a single party kind of democracy in Nigeria. And again, yes, that is just it.
Dr. Timothy Golu, former member of the House of Representatives and current advisor to the Plateau State Governor. Thank you very much for your time. Also, DW correspondent in Abuja, Nigeria, Ben Shemang. Many thanks. Now, while detailed data varies, defections are a common feature in many African multi-party democracies. They occur quite frequently, before, during, and after elections. And the reasons are varied. One could be driven by ideological differences, personal ambition, political survival, and the pursuit of access to power and resources. The challenge is they can undermine democratic institutions by eroding party loyalty, weakening party systems, and reduce public trust. They can also make politics transactional and opportunistic, leading to voter apathy and political instability. So, what do you think? We'd like to hear from you on this, so please share your thoughts with us on our Facebook page, DW Africa. Listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast from. Don't forget to click follow and subscribe to our DW Africa YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. This show was co-produced and edited by Isaac Mugabe. And I am Eddy Micah Jr. Thanks for listening.
DW, made for minds.